Hey, I'm Lee Kellogg, and thank you for joining me today on another nature journaling adventure. And it's July, and we are out looking at the Cholla cactus in the rescue cactus garden near my house. And the Chollas bloom a little later than most of the prickly pears and the hedgehogs. They're earlier in the summer, earlier in the season. And today we are looking at these thorny guys. And sometimes they grow high, sometimes they're low. So we're gonna go explore. So you can sort of see the extent of, or not the full extent, but some of the cactus and the yuccas that are here in the cactus rescue garden. And we are focusing mainly on the chollas today, but we'll take whatever's in bloom. It's gonna be a hot one today. It's July. Life gets hot here in the Southwest in July. So our first cholla. Cholla. I've been mixing them up with ocotillos, and they are not ocotillos. Ocotillos do not grow here. We are nowhere near ocotillos. These are chollas. And this guy's sort of a peachy rose color, really nice. Nice little color. I like that sort of soft little color. And you can see the blossom is right there. And then the fruits from last year are the yellow that are hanging out on the plants. And the yellow fruit look like they have no barbs, but by golly they do. If you touch them, pick them up with bare hands, you get prickles in your fingers. Oh, they're nasty, nasty, nasty. Just another overall view of the cactus rescue garden. And you can see how, we've got the pharmacy in the background there, and you can see how the plants are growing, how the chollas sort of grow up, and the lower to the ground are the other cactuses, the hedgehogs and the barrels and the prickly pears. And those we looked at in a previous video. If you want to see the cactuses that are lower to the ground, like the prickly pears and hedgehogs and barrel cactuses, find the other video on cactuses. Look at this guy. He almost reminds me of the teddy bear chollas that you see down in the Sonoran Desert towns around Tucson. I mean, he's just densely covered with spines that it makes his stalks look white. And he is a yellow blooming one. Move over here and get some blossoms in the camera for you. There's some yellow blossoms. They're sort of in the shade, so it makes it a little more difficult to get the color. But a nice yellow blossom. But man, look at all those thorns, all those spines, the barbs. It's like, oh, it makes my skin crawl, because those things hurt. And many times, here is a lovely magenta color, not as full magenta as our local chollas. This one's a little different, but he's beautiful. I mean, they're all gorgeous. They're all wonderful. And you can see how the spines are growing, again, a little differently on the stalk than others. And that's one way to tell them apart. And just also the intensity of the color of the blossom and how their growth habitat. And chollas actually look better if you prune them. And that way you get more new stalks coming out and more blossoms. Not sure if this one's different than the ones we've looked at, but he's just beautiful. That magenta is so rich and so gorgeous that I just love these plants when they bloom. So we are looking at this really straggly looking ocotillo, or not ocotillo, cholla, sorry. It's like that little, I planted something in my brain and it grew wrong. This guy, I think he's a cholla, but by golly, I don't know. And he's got some of the weirdest looking long spines on him. You can see him there with the red fruit. I don't see any blossoms on him right now, so I think he's done and I missed him, but he's just weird looking, and I love it, with all the little red fruits and the long spines and sort of menacing look. And here is yet another cholla. This one is much taller, skinnier, I call him rangier in growth, has fewer thorns or spines along his stalks, and his fruit and blossoms are a little different. So we've got some pinky blossoms getting ready to open there. And then to the right, as we slowly pan, you can see the fruit from last year, really red. And just, I don't know, sort of cool. I find this cool because this one's different. He's very different than some of the other ones that we've had here. I'm tossing in this prickly pear because he's just so pretty. He's just a different color than some of the other prickly pears that I've seen. Okay, Cholla cactus time. Here's my nature journal page for the Cholla cactus. And obviously I could go into much greater detail if I was so inclined on the flowers and how papery and, oh, I can't even think of the word, but you know, just the folds of the petals and such. But you know, there are times when you just don't. You just want to record the basic information and move on. And there are other times when you do want to do a lot of detail. So, you know, I leave that up to you. It's how much detail do you want? What is it you want to record? And put that in your journal so that when you look back, your future self will go, oh, that was cool. I remember those flowers. I remember that. I remember being there. So record what you need to record so you will remember. So your future self will thank you. So I hope you enjoyed that little nature journaling adventure, looking at cholla, a little bit of prickly pear, some other cactus perhaps, and just sort of exploring what goes on outside of Santa Fe in the neighborhood. And get out, have a look in your neighborhood, see what's going on, and journal about it. Even if you don't draw, write it down. Keep track of what's happening, what the birds are doing, even if you just record like the bird songs or something, or what plants are growing in your garden. Make record of it, because in a few years, you'll look back and thank you. So do something today for your future self and be creative. I'm Lee Kellogg. You can find me at naturejournalingtours.com, leekellogg.com. Be sure in YouTube to click subscribe and to click that bell so you get notifications when I post another video. I'll see you next week.